Traveler Show, Sophie PM, and you're watching Let Freedom Ring. Let Freedom Ring.
And welcome to Let Freedom Ring. We are back from a 2-week break. Had to digest what happened in the Super Bowl. But here we are. Let Freedom Ring. My guest this week, Mack Runyan. Mack, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here, Dan. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
not talk
absolutely.
about that Super Bowl, dude. Let's not talk
No.
about that Super Bowl.
I got to ask, though, did you see, I didn't think they were necessarily going to win that game. I thought maybe there would be a chance. Maybe it'd come down to a play or two. But really, they just never got anything going offensively.
I mean, there's so many things that you could try to blame it on, right? Drake May shit in the bed when he needed to perform the best, and our offensive line, Will Campbell,
Yeah,
really
well,
not holding his own whatsoever, getting thrown around like a high schooler, so. And then
yeah.
coaching too, even coaching, is great. All in all, though, I'll say what I got from that season is we're a scary team, right? And I definitely believe that the future is extremely bright for the Patriots franchise for sure.
I mean, I didn't expect to go from 4 wins to the Super Bowl in one season. They are all in on Drake May. They built around him. Let's see what happens. I'm super excited for next year. I mean, I again, 4 wins to the Super Bowl. That's a drastic change,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
definitely. Yeah.
But enough about that. We'll be definitely get into the Patriots again at some point. It's the off season, but let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I am from a local town in Massachusetts called Billerica. I don't know if you're
Uh,
familiar with
Home of
Billerica.
Tom Glavine.
Oh yeah, you want to know something? Fun fact, my dad actually fought Tom Glavine in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Sherry, real story right there, real story. But
Was it,
yeah. Oh, there's Siri. Yeah, but I grew up in Billerica. I spent like my first 17 years there growing up, my whole childhood. It's a blue collar town, a lot of hard workers. Sports are huge. Sports are very big in Billerica, as you can tell. A lot of athletes come from around that area too, and actually do go pro, which is pretty sick.
yeah, Bill Rico was always. I was a big. I was a wrestler in high school, and their wrestling team was always
Mm.
really good. They had these two brothers, the Cassidy brothers, that were really
I know
good
the
wrestlers.
Cassidys very well.
Oh, do
Yeah.
you
Oh
really?
yeah. Yeah.
That name sticks out in my head. If I'm not mistaken, I don't. Since you know them, I don't want to be misquoted. But there was before I got to high school, there was a kid, Joey Fulcher, who Nashua was known for the spladle. And I believe he was facing the older Cassidy brother. And if I'm remembering this wrong, because this is like 30 years ago, I apologize. But he only had like one loss and one of the, or two losses, and one of them was he got spladled. I don't. I think it was the Cassidy again. This is going back, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about the outcome of that one, but
yeah.
the Cassidys, their family still lives in Billerica. I went to school with a few Cassidys myself.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my brother actually lives in Billerica now. They bought a house in Billerica, and
Yeah.
it's funny because Daisy moved over there. She moved to Chelmsford, and she's literally on the line of Billerica. They're 30 seconds apart driving, and we didn't know that when she moved. So, uh,
That's cool though.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty
Now,
cool.
you still reside in Billerica, or
No, so I live in Manchester, New Hampshire now. Yeah, we can once we get into the journey of the addiction and stuff, we'll figure out why all that came into play and things like that. But definitely had to remove myself from my hometown, for sure.
no? Totally understandable. Well, what are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
Hmm. So I guess we'll start off with I am the youngest out of five brothers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got four older brothers. Another thing that people that have been around me for a while can't even believe when I tell them, dude, is I actually am diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. So that's an
Really? I didn't
interesting
know
fact.
that.
Yeah, it's an interesting fact about me. Um, And then I think third, I'll just say for the ones who don't know, is I am a singer and a songwriter. Um, I used to tour, I used to perform in front of sometimes thousands of people. At one point, I even had record labels from California fly all the way out here to
Oh wow.
watch me perform at one point, and then they actually invited me back to their Airbnb. Things didn't go as planned, but it's another thing we can get into a little bit down the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm excited to talk about that because I did see a performance of yours at Greeley Park. There was a promotional video, I think, for Granite where it was another song of yours. So there's obviously more to this story that a lot of us don't know. So I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah.
Now with the Tourette's diagnosis, like how do you? Because I didn't know that, and I don't think anybody really would know that about you. How do you manage that?
So I think a lot of people get confused about like the levels of Tourette syndrome that people can have. Obviously, like the most severe is like people who are constant blurting out, swearing, constant tics. Whereas me, it's a lot less than that, right? Like if I have like crazy anxiety or I'm super stressed out, like and you're like next to me, you'll notice a little more. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I make some humming noises, grind my teeth a little bit. Sometimes I have to blink really hard. And then it comes in waves too, like sometimes I'll go weeks without even noticing a thing. And then there'll be like a 3 day span where I just can't seem to stop. Right.
Mm.
So yeah, I was diagnosed at 5 years old, and back then they were putting me on medications and stuff, and this was like they didn't really know the side effects or the permanent things that could come from the medication I was taking, and come to find out that some of the meds that they had put me on actually caused my Tourette's to worsen.
Oh.
So I had to get taken off of those medications too. So yeah, I've been dealing with it pretty much my entire life.
Yeah, no, and that was something in the I don't want to get too much into it because it was kind of controversial, but that was recently in the headlines of an award show. Something was said very inappropriate, and I've seen a lot of the comments in there where people that I'm not familiar with it. So it's good to hear from
Hmm.
someone that does because a lot of the comments are saying you obviously don't know anything about Tourette's to really be saying
Hmm.
what you're saying. So, no, no,
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Now, the show's Let Freedom Ring and we ask the money question. This means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But what does it mean to you to be an
Mm.
American?
I mean, first and foremost, I want to thank every single one of the people who watch this, who have served for this country. I have a lot of family. It goes bloodlines and bloodlines of people who in current that are serving right now on bases. You know, man, where do I even start? I think a lot of people um, are extremely ungrateful and don't truly understand the freedom that we have in this country, right? Like, I mean, I watch videos of like other countries and stuff and just the news and see what they're dealing with in other sides parts of the world, and it's just like, wow, man. Like even me, right? Like I sometimes become ungrateful and seem to forget like how beautiful and blessed we really are to live in America. I mean, it's such a beautiful, beautiful country. Yeah, I mean, no matter where you go, there's gonna be people are evil, right? Like there's evil no matter where you go, and it's our job to try to make the world a better place, right? Not to throw fuel on the fire and to create more negativity. Um, but yeah, I mean, I am extremely grateful to be an American. I love my country very much. Um, and I guess yeah, it's pretty much where I stand on that, man.
Yeah. No, no, it's good. I brought this up a couple times on the show to talk about, kind of and there's countries that have freedoms to the level of the United States, but we did a show with a guest and they were in Hong Kong
Mm,
doing the episode and they really had to be careful what they said because the government can just knock on your door, right?
mm,
where we are in our country, right? Like, we have a lot of things that people say that we don't like, but they have the right to say it. We have a right to say something back. We can have opinions on things without, but you can, again, we've talked about this,
Yeah.
can't threaten, right? But you can, there's certain things, but like, you can say what's on your mind and you're not going to go to jail for it.
Right, right. And that's a beautiful thing. Freedom of speech, baby. Freedom
So,
of speech is a beautiful thing. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I gotta say, like, sometimes I'm on social media and you see all the and I stay out of it. But you're right, like, everybody has the right to say what they're saying, and everybody's just going back and forth. And it's like, well, guys, I mean, everybody has the right to say these things, and it's up to you how you want to handle it. But we're not going to stop them from doing it.
Yeah, yeah. See, but
So
this is the thing, man. You talk about the social media stuff. It's people's turn their opinions into like how can I put this lightly? For instance, the last presidential election, I remember seeing family members disown each other on
yes,
social media, right? And it was like me sitting on the sidelines watching it go down, and I'm like, this right here is what's wrong, right?
yeah,
This is these are the issues that we have to work on as a whole, as an entire country, right? Because divide and conquer, and America is super strong. Like, hey, we just won the hockey championship,
both,
baby.
yeah,
Go USA, That was probably the most beautiful thing I've seen the entire year. Because for that one moment, we were united as one, right?
yeah. I just wish I could. I just struggle with hockey, so I really didn't watch any of it. Like, but I'm always happy anytime the U.S. wins gold. Or I'm really excited for the World Baseball Classic. Like, I am.
Oh yeah.
I love the World Baseball Classic. I am all in on this. I wish it was every 2 instead of 3 years, to be honest.
Mm. Mm.
But
Yeah.
I do agree, and I think the other thing with social media is like people's opinions are like we know what people are thinking daily now. Like, it wasn't like that when
Yeah.
I was growing up. I think there's always been that division, right? Like, I remember as a kid I read a book, My Brother Sam is Dead, right? And it was basically talking about, the American Revolution. You had the Patriots and the Loyalists, and you had families like that, wanted to be loyal to England, and you had the colonists who wanted to break away, and families splitting then. And
Mm.
yeah, it's wild. I think it's better to stay out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you won't catch me putting my 2 cents in any of it. I keep my stuff personal, man. It doesn't need to be out there for the world to see.
No, no, and it doesn't need to be a written word too. Like, I'm more of like,
Yeah.
if people want to have a discussion, let's have a civil adult conversation instead of like trying to dunk on people in the
Yeah.
comments. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But no, no, good answer on that. I love asking that question. That sticks to really what we're all about at the show. So,
Mm.
um, now, you are a man in recovery. You work in the field as well. I'm also a man in recovery. Um, how did you get into recovery? How did you, as far as you want to go with it, how did you decide that you wanted to make a change for your life?
I mean, yeah. So I live in rigorous honesty, right? This is an honest program, so I guess I've been battling with substance abuse for roughly 15 years. I was in my first detox at 14 years old. So like from that point forward, um, I guess I learned little bits here and there as I went in and out of these facilities and stuff. But obviously, as a young kid, right, from 14 all the way to 24 years old, 25 years old, I couldn't wrap my head around the fact of this is a forever thing, right? It was very difficult for me to get a grip on the fact that, so what these people are telling me is that I can never pick up a drink or I can never go out and do drugs with my friends on the weekends or occasionally, right? But after years and years of just burning my life down to the ground, torturing myself and my loved ones and people around me, it got to a point where on May 14th, 2024, it had gotten so bad that I was literally on the verge of suicide, right? I didn't want to face any of the consequences that I've put on myself in my life. Um, yeah, man, I was just at a really, really dark point in my life, and I remember sitting at my apartment, and I had a knock on my door, and it was actually my uncle, and just hearing his voice through the door for whatever reason took away all that dark, empty feeling, and it like a ray of light just hit my soul. He said, "Hey, it's your uncle." Like through the door, he's like, "Hey, it's your Uncle Mack. I just want you to know I love you, man. Please open the door." And I ended up opening the door, man. And he came down. He sat next to me, and again, like I was hiding from all my mistakes and my consequences. I wasn't willing to face anybody. I was casted away in my apartment, and I let my uncle in, and he's just sat on the couch next to me. He just said, "Hey, man, listen, I just want you to know, like, we love you, we care about you. We just want what's best for you, man." And so I ended up that day after years and years and years of being forced into programs, whether it was to stay
Mm.
out of jail or getting sectioned or trying to fight off another case or make my probation officer happy. This was the first time in my entire life that I willingly picked up the cell phone and made a call for help, right? Because I knew at this in that song that I had recently posted, we can get into that as well. But that song was written during that time in my life where I was stuck in a position where I had two options, right? It was let my mental health and my substance abuse take me out, right? Or pick up the phone and call for help. So I actually I made the call, man, and I went to detox, and this time I did things differently, right? Every other time prior to this, when I went to these facilities, like I said, it wasn't willingly, it was usually forced or just trying to please other people. And I'd go and I'd am I allowed to swear on here? Is that
We try to avoid F-bombs
okay?
if you can. It's
All right,
family
then I
family
got you. I'm
friendly.
glad I asked. If one slips out, I apologize,
Yeah.
man. That's the mass in me. But but yeah, no, I remember I went to detox this time and I said, okay, I'm gonna do things differently. And what that looked like was when I got there, I wasn't gonna go hang out with the people I normally surround myself with, right? Which is like people who want to screw off the whole time and not really focus and do anything. So I started surrounding myself with like-minded individuals who were looking to really change their lives, and I saw early on that that had a huge impact, right? And then I went from this place in Massachusetts up to Nashua when I left detox. Um, and I can say this: there was a few guys in that program that I went to in Nashua that truly to this day, I won't say the names, but if they watch this, they know who they are. Love you guys like family. But those guys truly like took me under their wing and they showed me the path, right? They gave me hope. They gave me hope. They explained to me what their situations were like and truly showed me like, hey man, if they made it out on the other side and I thought I had it bad, right? There's zero chance that I can't make it out too, right? So I just put my head down, man, and yeah, I've been sober since that day. I'm coming up on 2 years clean in
Nice.
May. So yeah, man, it's been a
Nice.
journey, but it's been an absolute beautiful journey, right? Beautiful, beautiful journey.
Yeah, I mean the changes. I mean, like I'll tell you, and I think you make a great point. Now, I do think there are people that get sober through the courts and things like that, but I do think a lot of times with addicts and alcoholics, like it's it makes a world of difference when you've decided I've had enough punishment. I am
Mm,
done. And it really like it changed it's a different mindset, right? Going into that. So no, I think that's fantastic. And you know what I always thought, to be honest, like I always thought I would just do it on my own. And that is
mm.
such a dangerous game to really think because you don't have to. And it's really hard. And so I don't know, there's some people that can, but I was not one of them, you know?
Yeah, well, we can talk about we can definitely talk about what community means especially to my recovery, right? And why I do what I do today for sure. But I mean, yeah, like if anybody watches this that has trouble like reaching out and staying connected to other people, like my advice on that situation would be like be willing to get uncomfortable and to grow, right? Like definitely don't be afraid to put yourself out there and get phone numbers and stay connected because I promise you it is a vital key in longevity for the recovery, right?
Well, yeah, and that's a good. I want to talk about this because now you work in Granite recovery, correct?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
now, so you get sober in 2024. How do you end up now working in the field as well?
Mm, I love that question. It's a great question. So basically what happened was my whole mentality, like I told you, had switched this go around. And uh the place that I had got clean at, um, they were just extremely welcoming and open arms, and I built a strong like family like bond with these people, right? And then we started doing little things on like the weekends, like the program would bring you out to a softball field on Saturdays, right? And they take all the clients to the softball field, or they do a little cornhole thing here and there. And I will truly literally never forget how special those days were because I remember going to these fields, right? And seeing people with 1, 2, 3 weeks clean completely forget about all of the madness, right? Like it was gone. Like everybody was smiling, everybody was happy. They were just like enjoying life again. That is it. Enjoying life again. That is the motto at Granite Recovery Centers,
I love
right?
that.
And like that feeling just stuck with me. So when I had graduated the program, I actually, a few months went by and I said, "Hey, like, are you guys hiring for any positions?" And it started off as me doing house tech shifts. And what a house tech is
Mm,
you go to like the men's sober living houses and you kind of just hang out with them. You do medications, breathalyzers, UAs, stuff like that. You hang out with the guys, take them to a meeting, right? And then even in those moments, I realized, okay, you know what? And actually, at the time, Dan, I had a full-time career in sheet metal.
okay.
So I was doing sheet metal during the day, and then I'd finish that job and I'd go do some afternoon tech shifts at the men's housing.
Which I gotta say though, and just the techs are so when you are in treatment, they are so important to the like, and I'm not on anybody else, but clinicians and things like that. To me, when I was in treatment, it was the techs. I learned a lot from a lot of them,
Oh yeah.
which is a little thing I had to say. Like that's such an important job. I can't stress that enough. So
Absolutely, and I agree with you 100% on that, right? 100%, Dan, because at the end of the day, right, like that's your home for the time being. And to be surrounded around dudes who are like really doing the thing, right? And they like that's where the hope comes into play, right? Like, yeah, at the program, it's easy or easier to do what you need to do, right? With all that accountability, and you got the clinicians and the case managers, and you got groups, and it's structured. This is what you're doing, right? But when you go home, it's like, okay, right? Like, now what are we going to do? Who am I going to have these conversations with? Like, how am I going to like get myself out in the community and stuff like that? And having a serious house tech, which luckily for me, I had a lot of them at the place that I was at when I went to treatment. It was huge for me. It really was. We had, like I said, like it was on the house techs to bring us to those softball fields and to play cornhole and stuff, right? That was them, right?
yeah,
And God bless that man. He knows who he is, and I really hope
yeah.
he watches this because he truly is he is one of the main reasons why I stuck it out early on because it was tough, right? Like it gets tough. Some days are hard, and you need people to look to, right? And that's big.
And I think too, like a big thing too, like if anybody watches this that does go to treatment, like rely on them too, and don't, you know, you are there to listen. You are there to one, you're there to detox. Two, you're there to start learning, how to be sober. So don't be a pain in the ass to the techs.
Mm,
Don't do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, but
Um,
no,
yeah, so basically when I got so I was doing the sheet metal and then I was doing afternoon shifts as a house tech. I ended up loving the teching and working with people in recovery so much that I had actually put my 2 week notice in at the sheet metal company, and I went to pursue working in treatment full time. But I knew when I was going to work into treatment that I wasn't trying to be like a case manager or a clinician or nothing like that, right? Like I knew immediately exactly what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was to help show people that recovery can be fun, right? Like that was my goal from the jump, from the get-go. So as God saw it fit, man, right? I was doing some full time now with the treatment facility and ended up going to a softball tournament, right? And another company that was there had asked me to put a team together for their company because they couldn't find enough people. So in that moment, I had gotten enough people together to build a team for this treatment facility. And right then and there, once again, I seen all these beautiful, beautiful people just having the best day of their entire life, right? Like we truly just had fun. Winning didn't matter, losing didn't matter. Just being out there, everyone smiling, having a great time. Like you wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't know that this person just took every ounce of energy they had left in their soul to walk into a treatment facility 3 weeks ago, right? Like you couldn't tell. You were just living, just normal people having a good time.
love
And
that.
that day, the company that I had put the team together for had actually offered me a position as an alumni coordinator. Um, yeah, so my job title started there, which was actually Heartfelt Recovery Centers. I think you know that I was working there before.
Yep.
Um, and God bless them too, man, for opening that door for me and for giving me that opportunity. I learned a lot there in my role, and I'm forever grateful for that, and I always will be. And it was a beautiful thing, man. And even there, right, like that's when I started realizing like how big community truly is, right? It was like to have to have people come to you and trust you and to be able to open up to you and like look to you for answers when things are getting hard, right? You start to realize, like, okay, right? Like, I'm not God, right? I'm not God. I can't fix people, but I know that God can fix people, right? And I know what it takes to help people stay and work this program, right? And if I'm being honest, man, if when I first walked through the doors, somebody told me, "Hey, you're gonna have to go to 7 meetings, 7 days a week, and you're gonna have to read this big book 6 hours a day, and this is what your life's gonna look like forever," I probably wouldn't have made it out, right? I probably would have took my chances. So for me, having people show me like, no, listen, we still have fun in recovery, right? Like we still go out, we go bowling, we go to the movies, we go play pool, we play softball, right? All these beautiful things. We have alumni meetings, we do events all the time, right? And anyway, long story short, so I was working at Heartfelt, and after about a year there, Granite Recovery Centers had reached
They're
out to
just
me.
they're just all trying to get you.
So he actually Amadeus, who was on this show
Yeah.
before, my very he's actually my sponsor. He's
Oh,
my best
okay.
friend. My best friend and my sponsor. He's
I love
truly,
Amadeus.
yeah, he's truly the most vital person in my life today, man, for sure. And I'm extremely grateful for him. But he had given me an opportunity, and for those of you who know Amadeus, he is a respected alumni coordinator in the state of New Hampshire, right? Like he's been doing the damn thing for quite some time. And I knew that going to work with him would like blow this up for me, right? Like I would learn every single thing I needed to learn about what being an alumni coordinator is, right? So I took that leap of faith, man, and I accepted the job. And I went to work over at Granite Recovery Centers, and I like it's been a crazy ride, Dan, in 2 years, and not even 2 years, right? I went from physical labor my entire life, right? Like hopelessness, strung out, drug addict, alcoholic, depressed, suicidal, to here we are now in not that much time if you really think about it, right? Like 18, 19 months really isn't that much time, right? But I surrounded myself with the right people. I stayed involved in a community of people who truly wanted me to be there, right? I took suggestions, I did the work, and the promises of the book come true, right? Like at the end of the day, the promises really do come true. And I'm absolutely blessed, man. I'm grateful to be where I'm at today. It's been a journey, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. I truly wouldn't trade this for anything.
No, and I like that, and I think like you and Amadeus, just knowing you guys from softball and stuff, like I think you're two people very suited to do that. And I have seen you with we were at a meeting and you were with some people, and I saw how you interacted with them, and I saw kind of you had said something. I think you may have even been talking about how you can have fun in recovery, and I was like, yeah, I think he's suited to be working with them, because I will tell you one of the biggest things when you're in treatment is you think you're never going to have fun ever again,
Mm,
or you think I remember I'm never going to go to a Patriots game, softball's done, all these things, and to be quite frank, in sobriety, I've found I'm actually you have more fun now than you did before when you're not always chasing the drug or the booze or whatever. Like life is a little it's not a little, it's a lot more fun, it's a lot more
oh yeah.
enjoyable,
Oh yeah, for
um
sure. Yeah, I
so
definitely don't miss I definitely don't miss 4 or 5 day benders, sun coming through my window, the birds chirping, being miserable, right?
oh,
Like I don't
Groundhog
miss
Day, it
it.
happened again.
Yeah, yeah, telling myself I'll never do this to myself again, and then as soon as I wake up, I'm back at it again, right? You know, I mean, like
A full-time
truly,
job.
yeah, it really is. It really is. And like that's another thing too, right? Like I had that mentality when I first came back, right? It was like, okay, I may not be able to do the things that I was doing, but this time I can do them better than before, right? Are we gonna get into the softball thing? I think we're gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah,
into the
we could. Well, yeah,
softball thing.
we can go like, because I'm curious, because I'll tell you this, like, there's a lot of people in softball from recovery or in recovery, and that's how they found softball. Me, I started doing it, at in college, and I've been playing for 21 years. So I've had the experience of watching my alcoholism progress and getting worse as a softball player, to being around, to be quite frank, and I gotta say this is if so many people from recovery didn't start playing in the leagues, I started meeting people that were sober, and
Mm,
there's wheels that started turning of like, oh, maybe I could do that. Maybe you know what I mean? I told JR this one time, I had him on Let Freedom Ring, and I was pretty deep into my alcoholism. And the way he was talking, I told him, I said, hey man, I listened to what you had to say, and I legit got jealous. And I was like,
mm,
I want that.
bang.
And so
Yeah.
it's really it's so good to have that layer of and listen, I'm one of those people, you can still be, I don't have any issues being around people doing their thing at the field, but it is nice to have those people there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, dude. And like I was talking about, right? When I was at that facility, that's when I first got into softball. But there was times in the past, right? Like where I would go to like fields and I'd be getting all messed up, right? And it wasn't as enjoying as it was like doing it sober, right? Um, I guess my in a short summary, my background, I've always been a ball player my entire life, right? I remember when I was like 12 years old, I had colleges come into like little league fields to scout me, and I was in the Lowell Sun newspaper a few times
Oh, nice.
actually. I threw a couple perfect games and no hitters in one season. I hit like 36 home runs the same year. I always had baseball was a part of me, and that was something that I really let myself down on. Is I let the drugs and the drinking ruin that for me, right? Like it took that away from me. And when I first got into the sober community and I realized how big this softball thing was, right? It was bigger than I even expected. I said, okay, people like to get together and play softball. That's wicked fun, right? And then before you knew it, I was just in Florida in September playing world softball tournament, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, right? Like that I used to dream of doing that as a kid with the baseball. It doesn't make a difference to me. Softball, baseball, I got to live that out sober. Like
Yeah.
I would have never made it there if I was still in active use. I wouldn't have met the people I met. I wouldn't have got involved the way I got involved, right? Like it's truly, I owe that experience to my recovery, to me
No,
putting down the substance, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it opens up. I mean, there's so many doors, right? And I remember when you were coming in, I said, "Hey, this guy can play." I said, we gotta get him on the teams. So no, that's all. I mean, it's the truth, though. I mean, there's so many doors open and so many more opportunities come around, and when you're sober, you're able to see them and participate and not. I mean, I'll tell you, I've caused some problems with my drinking in softball. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's good. It's so much better to not have that. But I do want to ask this though, because before I don't want to run out of time because I really want to talk about this because this is some stuff that I don't think a lot of people get to know about you. But tell me more about the music. How did you start writing music? Where was
Mm.
this going? And tell us a little bit more.
So I'm actually very happy that we're going to talk about this. So I started, I guess, growing up in my house, as I told you earlier, I'm the youngest of five brothers, right? And in my household, music was huge. My mom wrote poetry. My dad was the lead singer and guitarist of his own band. And my middle brothers, who are twins above me, were heavy, heavy. This was like when Eminem and 50 Cent were first
Yeah.
busting on the scene, right? Lil Wayne was on dropping the Carter albums. And I don't know, man, something about rap music and what I went through as a child and stuff, man, just like really resonated with me. And I knew by the time I was 9 years old, I would sit in my bedroom, come home from school, and I would go on YouTube, man, and I would just put on instrumentals and I would just start freestyling for 5, 6 hours by myself. And that's where it started, right? My inspirations of artists that I looked up to at that time was definitely people like Eminem, Lil Wayne, um, Nas, 50 Cent, right? And before you knew it, by the time I was 11 years old, I was already writing music, right?
Oh
So,
wow.
so the difference, a lot of people start off with the right music. Me, I started off as just freestyling, right? I never really put any pen to paper. I kind of would just sit there and just let my brain flow and try to create these words and match them together. And by the time I was 11 years old, I really fell in love with it. Like I said, you know what? I'm gonna start taking this a little bit more seriously. And when I started writing it down on paper, it started to become more real to me. And what I mean by that is like when I would freestyle, it was just like all over the place, right? Like
Yeah.
the words would
Yeah.
rhyme, but they wouldn't really make sense and it wasn't tied into who I was as a human. So when I started writing it down on paper, I started writing about me, about my experiences, about what it meant to me and this, that, the other thing. And by the time I was 13 years old, I was already in studios recording music. I dropped a few songs when I was 13. Um, Obviously was a little difficult to get feedback back then, I was so
Sure.
young, and I would make my friends listen to it, and they'd be like, "Wow, dude, you're a white kid from Borica, right?" Like
Yeah.
There's some people hate it, some people love it, right? But I never gave up. I never ever gave up on it, ever. I knew it was something that I really wanted to do, and I loved it, so I just kept pursuing. And by the time I was like 16 years old, I had started booking myself shows at venues at like the All East in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I would perform downstairs, or I would be like the first artist opening up for like a big name artist, right? And then by the time I was like 18, 19 years old, I started opening up for, at one point I was opening up for like A Boogie with the Hoodie. I don't know if anyone's familiar with him, but he's a pretty big artist. Um, we were doing really, really well. And then by the time I hit 20 years old, I realized like, okay, and mind you, in the midst of all this, I'm dealing with addiction and substance
Sure.
abuse, and I'm taking the wrong road, right? Like the path that I have gone down isn't the best. But by the time I was 20 years old, we started getting like pretty noticed. And I have videos on YouTube actually that have reached over 100,000 views on multiple videos. One of my videos has 119,000, the other one I think has 113,000.
Well, you're gonna have to
And
send me these.
oh, definitely,
Yeah,
yeah. I
I'll have to
mean,
put
if
them
anybody
somewhere.
wants to look it up, Mack the Magnificent on YouTube, Mack space the space Magnificent. That was it back in the day. But yeah, when those videos had came out and they started going through the roof, record labels from California were like reaching out. I had a manager at the time. He worked
Oh
for
wow.
Puma. We were showing up to shows on party buses, 50 people deep, right? Like we were really in them, like we were getting somewhere. And I'm glad that you touched on this because so we went to perform at a show and we knew that Capitol Records in LA was flying out to watch us perform, right? So this dude, Raheem the Dream, actually worked with artists like
I've heard
Migos,
that name,
Kevin
I think.
Gates,
Yep.
Cuban Doll. This dude was like he was like a well-known executive person at Capitol Records, and he flew out and he came and he watched us perform. And after the performance, he came up to me and like my people and was like, "Yo, you guys crushed it! Like I got an Airbnb." Like I want to talk about a record deal, but I want you guys to come back to the Airbnb. So we all went back to the Airbnb, and Mac being just a drunk disaster. I think at that concert, I was on codeine,
Mm.
Xanax, Jack Daniels, probably smoked about 20 grams of marijuana, right? All at this show. And then we go back to the Airbnb, and this dude literally asked me, Dan, he goes, "Hey, before we do anything with this paperwork, I want you to freestyle for like 30, 45 minutes, right?"
Oh, jeez. Yeah, yeah.
So I start freestyling to this dude, and the first 15, 20 minutes are going great. I can tell he's loving it. And I was just so messed up on the drugs and alcohol, man, that I started saying things that I shouldn't have said, long story short, while I was freestyling.
I mean, 45 minutes is a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time to
Yeah.
freestyle.
Yeah. It was a crazy experience, but it turned out everything was going so well, right? Like here are my dreams right in front of my face. I've been chasing this since 9 years old. This dude's got the papers right there. He's willing to have a contract laid out, right? And I ended up blowing it, man. I blew it, right? I blew my opportunity. In the moment, this is what my mindset is, right? It's like, oh my God, right? I'm thinking of the Eminem song, like, you got one shot, do not miss your chance
Yeah,
to
yeah.
blow, right? And I really, really let that mistake take me out for a long time.
Mm.
So at that point in my music career, I was making music more of like mainstream, what it looked like smoking joints and partying and dealing drugs and stuff like that. And when that all happened, I had actually let go of music for like 2 years, 3 years. And then when I had picked music back up again, I went back to my roots of where it started, right? The original, like when Mac first put pen to paper, what was it? It was more real life, what I was going through, what I was experiencing. Um, And that's why as of recently, like actually I just bought a bunch of new studio equipment. I
Oh
have been
no.
recording new music again. I am working on a mixtape, and it's going to be more based on, right, like where I came from, and to help other people. Like I don't know if you listen to that song that was based on the mental health called Far From
Yeah,
Home,
yeah,
right?
I'd heard that on the video, the promotional video.
Yes.
And I gotta say, like I saw the time I saw the video from Grayley, I said, okay, this isn't just like he's just picked this thing up. Like he clearly knows what he's doing when I heard that.
Mm.
So I'm excited to hear that new stuff come out. I mean, I think it's never too late to follow what you want to do, and who knows what it could lead to. But I mean, I think that's yeah. I'll tell you this though, Mac. That's a hell of a lot of pressure when to have a record label like Capitol Records saying freestyle for 45. That's a long time.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But like these are the things, right? Like my baseball career could have went somewhere, but drugs and alcohol ruined it, right? My music career was about to go somewhere, and I let drugs and alcohol control me again, and I let them take that opportunity from me, right? So, and those are just two situations out of multiple that have happened in my life. Where in the big book, for anyone who's familiar, it says we like to build up our lives and then pull them back down
Mm,
in a series of sprees, right? That was what my life looked like, right? Like I would build myself up in these beautiful opportunities, and then because of my alcoholism, my addiction, I would pull them back down on top of my head, and I would destroy them, right? So this go around with the music thing, though. I think it's important to let people know that I'm not interested in making money off of it. I'm not interested in pursuing it as a full-time career. It's more or less just like um, I hope it helps people, right? I hope it helps people. If something were to happen with the music, good, you know what I mean? But I'm happy where I'm at. I think being an alumni coordinator is the most beautiful thing I could have ever asked for, and to be in this position, and now I get to use music as like a way of communicating to other people who are struggling. Because I know me, and even in the midst of my worst addiction, like music actually saved me a lot. Listening to
abs-
music helped me through so many difficult times in my life. R.I.P. Juice World, man, one of my favorite artists ever. That I just want to throw that out there, man. Gone way too soon, as long as a lot of other beautiful, talented artists that
mm,
didn't get to see a lot of time, man. But truthfully, Juice World saved my life on many occasions, and he died overdosed off Percocets. And he made music where every single song he made, he would get open and honest about the fact that he was dying from his disease and he couldn't stop. And I really respected it that he wasn't promoting it for kids to do it like a lot of these rappers do, right? Like they promote it like it's fun. And Juice World was really saying like, no, like this stuff is killing me, right? Like I can't figure out a way out. And then it ended up taking him from
I,
us.
I
So,
think there needs to be more music like that. I mean, I my one of my favorite artists of all time was Bradley Noel, right? And I never even heard. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Sublime, but
oh yeah, yeah,
I never heard any of his music till he was already gone. Heroin overdose in 1996, and man, there's so much joyful music. But he really does talk a lot about, he has a song "Pool Shark" just saying like I'm gonna lose this war, and he did.
mm,
But there was so much happy. It's like it's so sad because he was 27, and it's like this guy to me, and this gets controversial, and I don't want to piss anybody off, but I was like, this guy had the makings of like the legacy that Kurt Cobain left to me. I think he
mm,
would have been, and it's heartbreaking to lose those
absolutely,
artists so young, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for
but
sure.
no, I'm excited because I honestly would love to hear more music like that. I, at 41 years old, I'll listen to the throwbacks, but I'll tell you this: I put on the radio, and a lot of stuff does not mix for me anymore. And
Yeah,
I think that'd be awesome. But no, I think you're a talented guy, and definitely whatever happens with it, I think that's awesome. So.
thank you, appreciate that, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have two fan questions I want to get to as well. From first from Sarah Booth. She wants to know, and you know Boothie,
Oh yeah. What's up,
uh,
Sarah?
what's your favorite hobby outside of softball?
I mean, I'm a very athletic guy, so I'd say besides the music thing, golf. Love
Oh,
golf.
really?
I love golf. I might love golf more than I love softball, if I'm being honest.
Really? I can't
Yes.
do it. I can't do it.
Love golfing. I if I could afford it, it's a very expensive habit, but if I could afford it, I would go multiple times a week if I could. Yeah.
Yeah, golf is. I mean, I don't. I like hitting it far. I do. Love hitting it. I don't like
Pipes.
everything
They
after
call you
that.
pipes for a
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
Everything after that in golf, I'm like, get me out of here. That's why the driving range can be an absolute blast.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean the first 5 years of me playing golf, I must have lost 20, 30 balls around, hitting them into the trees and stuff. But as of the last 2 years, I can actually say that I'm like a bogey golfer.
Okay.
So I shoot like on 18 holes, I'll shoot like in anywhere from like an 88 to a 96. Which that's good. It's like you can enjoy it when you go out and play, like you're not all over the place. So
Yeah, yeah. I like. There's times I've gone. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this hole. I'll meet you guys at the next one. Like, I can't do this
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Um, Melissa Amato of Mel's Angels wants to know what's your favorite league to play in.
I mean, come on, Nashua Co-ed Sundays,
See,
baby.
they're serving up these softballs to the host. You know, this is the second time someone's asked this on the show. You know,
Mel's Angels till I die. Mel's Angels till I die, baby. That's it.
yeah,
Locked
no,
in.
super excited for the season. I gotta say it. I don't think the city of Nashua is gonna see this, so I'm just gonna say it. Unreal the amount of money that they are now charging for permits, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw that today in my email, and I already knew, but I didn't know what the final, and I'm like, these leagues have existed for decades. Like,
Yeah.
this is an absurd amount that they're asking, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not blaming Park Rec. I know it didn't come from them. The Alderman of Nashua that may watch the show, I'm gonna stop. But I gotta ask this because there was a question in here. Two more, and we'll end it. But what would you say to someone? Okay, now I was a we've both been out. We've been out, right? Um, what would you say to someone if they said to you, "I think I have a drug or alcohol problem"?
Hmm. I would say, well, first I would ask them the question probably, um, are you able to stop on your own, right? And depending on what their answer is to that question, whether it's honest or not, I would probably say something along the lines of, what's the worst that can happen with putting yourself in a facility where you can diagnose that, right? What's the worst that's going to happen, right? What are you going to get healthier? You're going to take care of
Yeah.
yourself a little bit more. We've already done so much damage to our bodies in
Mm,
the midst of all this chaos we've caused, right? And that's something that a lot of people struggle with is like giving up the job, the apartment, whatever the situation may be to put themselves into a facility, right? To get well. I see that a lot with the field that I work in is people don't give themselves a chance, man. And I would just say like give yourself a chance, right? Like I'm not God, I can't determine if people are or they aren't, right?
mm,
But they know, right? Like at the end of the
yeah.
day, they know. If you can't physically prevent yourself from having the second drink, right? If one is too many, a thousand's never enough,
Yeah.
then the chances are you're probably dealing with an alcoholic illness that needs some addressing, right? So if there is people watching this that are kind of on the fence, um, what's the worst that can happen, man? Go see. Go find a place that you'd be interested to going in and do a little bit of work around it, and whatever, right? Even if you're not an alcoholic, at least you gain knowledge on the situation, right?
Yeah. And I do feel like people know, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I said this at a meeting tonight, actually. I said, at the end of the day, I didn't want to die. I wasn't ready. For a
Mm,
long time, I thought that I was. I never thought I'd make it out of 2022. I was pretty convinced like this is the year that, I'm going to drink myself to death or have a heart attack or something. And you know what? I'm content with that. Like I was, I mean,
mm-hmm.
I'd suffered a lot of issues and a lot of times of, suicide attempts and things like that. And then I lost a friend and it really became real. And it
Mm,
really went, oh, this is this really what you want?
mm,
And I would say that to him because you do get to that point. It's like you don't want to live, but you don't want to die. And that's a
yeah,
tough boat to be in. Um,
absolutely.
I got to ask one more question. Any events coming up
Mm.
for Granite Recovery? How do we find? You guys are very active on social media. I can tell how much Amadeus loves making these videos, which I love them too.
Yeah.
So,
He is the best, dude. Um, so actually, I'm very, very excited. On St. Patty's Day, the 17th of March, next month, we have teamed up with St. Christopher's Recovery, Capital Recovery, Heartfelt Recovery, Under One Roof Construction, and then, of course, us, Granite Recovery Centers. We have all teamed up and we have rented out McIntyre Ski Area in Manchester, New Hampshire.
oh,
From 5 to 8 p.m. on St. Patty's Day, we are going to have the whole place. All you have to do is show up. There's going to be food catered. You're going to be able to go snow tubing from 5 to 7 p.m. Then 7 to 8 p.m., we're going to do food and fellowship, and a surprise speaker is going to
all
come
right.
share their experience, strength, and hope with us. Um, but yeah, that's another really cool thing. Every single month, Granite throws an alumni event. So we have Jose up in Portland. He's the Portland alumni coordinator, and we'll
Okay.
go back and forth every month. So like this month he's doing a trivia thing this Saturday, and then next month will be me and Amadeus doing the New Hampshire event, and so on and so forth.
I may have to show up to. I didn't even know how close I lived to that place, and we went tubing for my nephew's. I was like, "This is in Manchester." I didn't even know this
Yeah.
existed. So that sounds awesome. What day of the week is that? Is that a weekend? A weekend?
No, it is during the week. I can't remember the day. I want to say it's a. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, I might have to check that out. That
It's a
sounds
Tuesday.
awesome.
It's a Tuesday.
All right, that sounds like an awesome event.
Pull up, Dan. Pull up, man.
Yeah.
You can always reach out to me anytime, dude. You know.
Absolutely. Well, Mac, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been an absolute blast. We're gonna have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Um, so everybody out there, I hope you have a great week and yeah, enjoy the snow. Hopefully it stops eventually and continue to let freedom ring.
Thank you.